It's a warm welcome wherever you are watching us from here in Kenya, Africa, and of course across the globe. Well, this is Sporting TV, your number one leading sports channel. And on today's show, we are going to focus our attention on the Super Sunday match between Manchester United against Manchester City, famously known as the Manchester Derby. This tie will take place at the famous Old Trafford Stadium. Remember that in the first leg in this match, Manchester United managed to defeat Manchester City by 2-1, and it was a comeback after Manchester City took the lead courtesy of Gvardiol goal. Well, Manchester United managed to turn tables around in the second half, and Bruno Fernandes' penalty and last-minute winner by Amad Diallo managed to give Manchester United all the 3 points. Well, before we get down to it, remember to view, like, subscribe and share, and you can also drop a comment on the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to sample some of your views and thoughts on our upcoming match, as we also keep tabs on the rest of the matches in the English Premier League. Well, feel free also to give me your prediction. Which team do you think is going to win this Manchester Derby between these two great English sides? Well, remember that currently Manchester City is struggling and so far is perched at the 5th position on the log, and it's a very bad position, of course, for Manchester United, currently lying in that 13th position this season. And since Amorim took the reins from, of course, Erik ten Hag, little change has been seen at Old Trafford Stadium. Well, he'll be hoping to turn tables around and go one better against Manchester City and try to do a double against Manchester City side. Well, will Manchester be painted blue, or Manchester is going to be painted red in favor of Manchester United? Well, we have a few hours to see what is going to unfold in this match. Remember that both teams are missing very crucial players, and Manchester City in particularly missing Erling Braut Haaland, who is of course their top scorer this season, when he got injured in the FA Cup final tie when they managed to face Bournemouth. A very big blow for, of course, Pep Guardiola and his side. And Manchester United this season also is missing crucial players, the likes of Lisandro Martinez, the likes of Amad Diallo, the likes of Mason Mount, of course, Luke Shaw, who is also doubtful to play in this match against, of course, Manchester City. Well, let's go and see how things are going to unfold, and we are going to see if Pep Guardiola is going to turn tables round, or maybe Amorim is going to do a double against Pep Guardiola. And so far, the formation that these two teams are going to adapt is going to be very crucial heading to this match, as Manchester City is famously known for applying a 4-3-3 kind of formation, with one midfielder acting as a pivot in the middle of the park. But that has not been the case this season. Manchester City has really struggled, and the likes, of course, Rodri, who have been ruled out for the rest of the season, will not be taking part in this a tie between the two of the greatest side in Manchester history. Well, in the other side, Amorim is trying to introduce a very different ball game on what Manchester United we are used to playing. Currently, Manchester United applying a 3-5-2 kind of formation with the 3 center backs, 2 overlapping fullbacks. That, of course, has to be Dogo Dalot and, of course, Mazrui, who has had a decent season. And, well, in the middle of the park, there may be Casemiro, or maybe Maino may be called into this match, since we have news that he has recovered. But I don't think that he's going to take a part in this match, because it's too soon for Amorim to call him back. Well, in front for Manchester United, they've been struggling a lot to get those goals, and the likes of Garnacho, the likes of Højlund, they've not really performed to the expectation that maybe a lot of Manchester United enthusiasts had in mind, that this season is going to be the breakout season for maybe the likes of Garnacho and Højlund. So it has not been the case. The captain, fantastic Bruno Fernandes, has been pulling the strings for Manchester United in terms of assist, and of course as spraying those passes to the likes, of course, to Garnacho, and of course in that role in Manchester United. Well, let's go a bit to Manchester City, and is Pep going to maybe have some changes in that Manchester City side? Mohamed Marmoush, who is having a very decent season, of course, joining for Manchester City, banging in goals left, right, and center. The likes of Bernardo Silva in the middle of the park will trying to cover all the blade in the pitch, trying to make sure that Manchester City is in total control of that midfield area. This season that has not been the case, and Manchester City has lost more than 10 games, and that is the longest drought that maybe Pep Guardiola has had in this career, when he was, of course, at Bayern Munich, FC Barcelona, and now Manchester City. This has to be the worst season in the history of Manchester City since Pep Guardiola took the reins. So far, they have garnered 51 points, and they're lying at that for that matter. And Manchester United has not even reached the 40-point at the moment, having 37 points, a very bad return for Amorim. But so far, when they played against Nottingham Forest this week, Amorim was in jovial mood, saying that Manchester United, even though they lost, they managed to play a very decent match. Remember, in that match, the likes of Murillo managed to clear, which was something that was many presumed was going to be counted as a goal, but it was cleared just in line before getting into that Nottingham Forest. Well, Manchester United have a home advantage, but since derbies don't really count on home advantage, I think that is going to be a very difficult match to call. But going by my prediction, I think this is a match that is going to have over 2.5 goals, and it will have goals going by the two teams' history heading into this match, of course. Well, give me your views and thoughts on what you think is going to be the results on this match between Manchester United against Manchester City. Well, we have to talk about this, and one Erling Braut Haaland is missing this match, a very crucial player, and at the moment Manchester City don't have an out-and-out striker. So who do you think is going to slot in place for Erling Braut Haaland? I think it's going to be Mohamed Marmoush, who has managed to take the English Premier League by storm, scoring for Manchester City those crucial matches. And well, for Manchester United, I think that Amorim is going to just have to stick with his guns, and I think that the likes of Højlund, who has been under a lot of criticism, especially from different quarters of the media, I think that is going to get the nod to try and get those goals for Manchester United. Garnacho also, who has been on the spotlight of late for not, of course, having performances that befit Manchester United, I think that is also going to get that nod in that middle of the park. Well, De Ligt has had a decent season, and he has been one of the few players who has managed to rake up numbers for Manchester United in terms of appearances, and I think this season he and Bruno Fernandes are the players that have played so many matches for Manchester United. Well, goalkeeping area I think is also a concern, because at the moment Onana has only managed to keep 8 clean sheets, and I think he has been also under a lot of scrutiny from the bookmakers, the pundits, and they've been calling him week in, week out for poor performances, of course, compared to when he joined Manchester United from Inter Milan, and many are saying that he doesn't instill that confidence in that Manchester United setup, because he has been shaky when trying to build from the back, and it has not really worked for the Cameroonian shortstopper. Where the likes of Dogu may also get a run in that, of course, fullback position, trying to link up with the likes of Garnacho, who will be playing up front for Manchester United. Well, going back to Manchester City, as I said earlier, it's not been decent for them, because the likes of Ederson, they've been shaky. They've not had that stellar performance, that stellar season that we are used from the likes, of course, of Bernardo Silva in that middle of the park for Guardiola to try and rely on. But so far, I think that he has done a good job, considering that he has managed to reach the FA Cup semi-finals, and they'll be meeting Nottingham Forest. Remember that Nottingham Forest is the one that eliminated in the FA Cup, if I'm not wrong. Well, that have been all from me, and we'll be keeping tabs on all the matches taking part in the English Premier League. And of course, this is the derby, one of the biggest in England history. Manchester United against, of course, Manchester City, a match which will be played in the Old Trafford Stadium. This is the second leg of this season 2024-2025, and remember, if Manchester United can go ahead and have a double, as I said earlier, against Manchester City, it is something that has not really happened for a number of years. The last time that Manchester United came close to having a double against Manchester City, I think, was in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's era. That was a few years back. Well, I've been your host, Molo Collins. Let's keep interactive across all social media platforms. Give me your views and thoughts, and I'll be sure to sample some of them on our next show. It's going to have the last laugh in this Manchester derby between Manchester United against Manchester City. As for me and the rest of my crew, it's bye-bye for now. Let's do this again next time when we do meet.